Okay. OBS updated. What the fuck is this blue shit? Sorry for getting so mean right off the bat, but this is new, and also my microphone is being weird. Hopefully Coco will stay here throughout the whole stream. I don't know. My PNG tuber app is fucked up. But we're going to Google. And I don't care if you guys see all my shit. I don't care. We're going straight to Pinterest. I know. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, sure, continue as. I don't care. We're not even gonna. Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this. Where's my. No! Where's my profile? Flex. Okay. Okay. I forgot to clap at the beginning of the video! I, always do that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Also, you're gonna see a lot of slurs. That's just how it be. I don't support everything on here. I don't support all the people. I especially don't support all the people. Oh my god, there are some shitty people on Pinterest. But, yeah, this is about queer vexillology. Because I love vexillology. I love making shit. Hell, I make shit. Here. Here, let me. Fucking non-characters. Okay, some of these are quite old, so don't at me for this. But I love making flags. Like, look at this. Like, this is kind of iffy. Like, but look at this. Look at this flag I just made last night. Like, well, it was a redesign, but I don't care. Like, I love Vexillology, guys. So I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. So first things first, we're gonna rate some flags. We're gonna rate some flags. We're gonna go into more ideas and rate some flags. I'm not gonna rate the identity the flag goes to unless I have something to say about it. Like something really specific to say about it. Like, I'm not gonna judge you unless you're like an endo. Or like a pedophile. I'm not gonna fucking judge you. Unless you're actually bad. So. Yes, so I'm probably just gonna go over stuff I know and have seen, but I'm also gonna go over some stuff I haven't. So we're going to go over here. Let me make a note. Let me make a note here for you guys. Rating system. 1. Or let's not do numbers. Let's not do numbers. We all hate numbers. Math bad. Don't do math. I certainly don't. So we have, is it accessible? I misspelled accessible. To those who have low vision or are partially colorblind. So this one is accessible to those who have low vision or are partially colorblind. Let's just go with this autistic pride flag. The biggest part of this is that it has good contrast. Like, this is one color, this is a totally different color, this is a totally different color, and there's white in the middle. Now, the yellow and the white don't have the best contrast between each other, but they still have some good contrast, and the red in the middle is quite nice. So, it hits about a 9 out of 10 on the accessibility scale, which is good for an autistic pride flag. That is always nice to see. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? This is pretty. This is gonna be my opinion. This is purely gonna be my opinion. This right here, purely my opinion. Cause like I think this flag's pretty. Let's see if we can find one that I don't find pretty. Oh. This flag's ugly on purpose. And this I don't like. I just don't find it visually appealing. I don't find it aesthetic or whatever. I just don't find it visually appealing. And I don't think it's like that on purpose. So it's just not for me. Nothing against the flag. It's just not for me. Oh, that's a pretty tattoo. Okay. Okay, that was off topic, but I just like that tattoo. What else should we add? Stripe number. So this flag right here, I'm using this example because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripes. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let me see if I can find a flag with fucked on stripes. Because there is absolutely flags that have too many stripes. Like, this is kind of bordering on too many stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That has almost 12 stripes. It's visually appealing still, but it's harder to differentiate. It's also harder to look at. Like, as you can see, this is going to be easier, and the T for T flag is going to be easier to look at than, like, this flag if it was on its own. Or this flag if it was on its own. A lot of times, symbols really make up for this shit, which is going in, or like this flag, is going into our next thing. Symbols. Let me scroll back up and use this autistic flag again because I really like this one. I do prefer the gold one better. I do prefer the gold one more. Wow. But I do really like this flag, so I'm gonna be using it as an example a lot apparently. The symbol is force, infinity symbol. Sorry, it took me a second. And it's in a circle. This is nice, simple, recognizable, and it's visually appealing. Same with the HE symbol, same with the polyam symbol. This is also very visually appealing. I've seen this one before. I love this symbol. I do not like the flag. I love the symbol. Let me see if I can find an example of a not great symbol. It's gonna be hard because most people who use symbols know what they're doing. Hmm. I'm not immediately proven wrong, and that is kind of saying something. Like, this is not visually appealing, but it still kind of gets the point across. Um, this does not get the point across, nor is visually appealing. Again, no hate to the flag itself. This is just, it doesn't make sense, and it's not visually appealing in any other way. Oh no, I lost that flag. I guess we're gonna have to go with a different one. Yeah, also the pup gender flag is very recognizable. That's because it is more popular. So, again, the symbol part is gonna be partially my opinion and partially based on how popular the flag is and how much I know it. And currently, last but not least, I'm sorry guys, I might I might get some hate for this. I misspelled that. If it's in a gender system or not. I am sorry. But there are very few symbols for gender systems that look good. Like embodiment, that's not really a gender, but like at least I don't think it is, but like cat gender is nice, but that's not really a gender system. The virtual one is nice, but here, let me see if I can find one. I don't really have any gender system ones saved, so it's probably not gonna give me any. Um, hmm. Yeah, I can't find any gender system ones at the moment. But like, I'm sure we'll come across some. I'm sure we'll come across some. And I'll explain then. I'll try to explain then what I mean. If I remember. If I remember. So, I don't like doing gender systems because it just kind of doesn't allow for as much creativity and fluidity in how you create. But I do understand that for some people it's easier, and for some people they identify with a lot of different xenogenders like me, but they want to not use as many micro labels. So I kind of get that. I kind of get it, but I just don't personally like it, and eh. Also, the virtual flags are kind of hard to read, especially this one because it's so dark. In fact, I'm gonna have to, yeah, I have to turn up my brightness to even see that, and I can still barely see it. So, this is kind of gonna be our rating system for here. We're gonna, yeah, we're are going, wait, we're gonna edit it? We're gonna make this font bigger. Then we're gonna press accept. Ta-da. Okay. Now it's bigger. Now it's seeable. I hate this font. It's hard to see for me, but it'll have to work. So we're just gonna... Let's find one. Okay. This is something I might identify with. However, they're using too much user interface from this website. Like, half of the slide is user interface. And while I find the dots and colors quite nice, using half the flag being interface, it doesn't make sense for something like this. I understand what this gender is, and it's cool, but the UI just doesn't fit with this one. I feel like they could have done this a bit better. I like the inclusion of the cat though. So, is it accessible to those who have low vision or are partially colorblind? Yes and no. The UI part is not really. However, the flag itself, the flag colors itself, are. They're nice, contrasting, and you're using similar and different colors throughout. So like you're not like doing two very similar shades. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? I don't find it super visually appealing, so eh. Stripe number, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes, and the only problem is with these stripes is that they're not all the same width slash height. Like it depends on how you define a flag stripe, but it's not the same throughout. Symbols. Oh, I almost closed it. Oops. It has the scratch symbol and it has the cat symbol, so it's two symbols, which is kind of iffy, but I think it looks nice, especially because the cat is so integral to this. Gender system, it's not a gender system, so it's pretty good. It's just not visually appealing. Also, I just remembered I should probably answer this question that I've given myself that I need to answer. I am only going to do queer flags. I'm going to do some for like neuroqueer slash disabilities, and probably some for things that have to do with those disabilities. But I am not doing any country flags because country flags are boring and have flag codes, and the only good non-queer and non-disabled flag I've ever seen is the flag of Maryland, and that's in the United States. I mean, like, Palestinian flag is actually quite nice. I actually quite like it. Ukrainian flag's not too bad. But yeah, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, I don't want to do country flags. Let's find a different one. Okay. The font here. We're not going to rate these based on if they have been stolen from TikTok or not. So, let's go. Is it acceptable to those with low vision or are partially colorblind, blah, 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 blah? Yes and no. There is some good contrast between the stripes, and there is some good contrast here. But the shades might be a bit too similar, because it looks like it's just hue shifted. I might be wrong, but it looks like it's just hue shifted, and this font is not readable at all, guys. I'm sorry. I know we love the star font. It's pretty. And I'm very appreciative they didn't do the meanings in this. Because, oh god, that's so hard to read. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? It's pretty. It's nice looking. Um, stripe number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not all the stripes are the same height, but it still looks like they're the same on both sides, so that's good. Symbols. The autism symbol here isn't quite perfect, but that's okay because of what the flag is for. It's sleepy autism. It's sleepy autism. It's in gender system. No, that's not really applicable to this. So yeah, that flag's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this flag because I love this flag so much. Okay, this is not gonna do good on the rating scale. Is it accessible to those with low vision or partially colorblind? Yes. These two shades are a little bit too similar, I will say. But I love this flag so much. I love the dog. I love this dog gender flag, and I need to explain why. This is the visual spectrum of light through a dog's eyes. Isn't that so sick? Isn't that so cool? I love the design of this flag so much. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? It is ugly on purpose. Stripe number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes. Symbols, it has It has a good centered symbol that is symmetrical. Gender system, no, it is not. I just love this flag so much. I had to include it, guys. I love this flag. I don't personally identify with it, but I love it. Which one are we gonna do next? Oh, we need to add something to the rating system and then rate this one. Orientation slash image sizing. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. This annoys me so much. Because I used to do it too. I used to do it too. It's why it annoys me so much. When people do this. Let me show you average flag aspect ratio. You see this? You see this? Let's view image. View image. Yeah. And you see this? It fits like a rectangle. It fits like a flag rectangle. This is a square. Now, I am not saying you have to make all your flags the same aspect ratio. That would be dumb. Flags are supposed to look nice. And if they don't fit a certain aspect ratio, well, then they don't fit a certain aspect ratio. But I hate it when people do square flags. Oh my god, I hate it when people do square flags. Okay, so let's rate the rest of this flag just for full thing. Is it accessible to those? It is not. The shades are really similar. These two are really hard to tell apart. These two are a bit more contrasty, and the rest is pretty contrasty, but these two are really hard to tell apart on both sides. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? It's somewhat visually appealing. I mean, I get what it's supposed to be, but I feel like it could have gotten the Gothic a bit better than just the bats. Stripe number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not too horrible. Symbols. The symbol is recognizable. It's not symmetrical, but it's not supposed to be. I quite like this symbol. And is it a gender system? It is not. But the orientation slash image sizing. By the way, by orientation, I mean image orientation. Uh, I just. Also, the bats. It is fine to use pre-made patterns on your flags. However, please crop them properly. Why is this bat like this? Please crop them properly. And beyond that, I think there's too much size variation on the bottom here. I think there's too much size variation, and they just don't really fit in well. Also, I am not going to say I could do this better. You can make fun of me if I say I could do this better. Because even if I could genuinely do it better, that's not the point. That's not the point. This is just supposed to be fun. And I don't want to make people feel bad or inferior. Um Also, you guys are probably gonna hear my dog scratching at the door. They are fine. It is nice out right now. They have water. There's a huge fucking spider web in my side door right now, and I don't want to open the door because of that. At me all you want, but I have arachnophobia. I am not doing that shit. Let's find another one. Okay, this is not a good orientation, but I do want to talk about this because this is an interesting flag. this is a really interesting flag, especially vexillology wise. So is it accessible? The dark blue glow is not helping, but it's not too bad. It's still recognizable what the flag is. It just is very hard to see the dark blue. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? I think this is very visually appealing, actually. Stripe number, and that's where we get into the interesting part. There's not really stripes. I love it when people do this, by the way. There's not really any stripes because you're doing shapes in this flag, and I think that's very interesting. So even though I haven't used numbers, I'd say that's a 10 out of 10 for the like any stripes because this is just I love it when people do this. Symbols. It is a computer. It's a computer. It is an aesthetic computer, but it's a nice looking computer, and it is transparent image, so it doesn't mess with the rest of the flag. So that's nice. It's not engine or system, and the orientation image sizing could be better, but this fits for this flag, especially because it's in the same aspect ratio as this computer right here. I'm not going over that one because I think I would murder someone. I don't hate, no hate to the flag. I do not want to go back. I do not want to go back, guys. Let me find another good one. Also, I'm sorry if me scrolling past any images that include bugs in them is a bit triggering. You know what? I'm gonna can I change the description halfway through the video? Oh, I might not want to open my settings actually. Okay, I need to see if this paused. Okay. I don't know if this paused or not, but it doesn't look like I can edit the description. I will edit the description in case someone wants to watch it back. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about that. I'm not gonna rate any of them that have images I think could possibly be triggering, except for maybe an eye or two. Not a realistic one though. But I will try my best to not hover over ones that could be triggering. Okay, this is a nice looking one. It's got a lot going on though. So let's do our rating system because we're gonna be equal to each and every flag. Also, I love it when people include really like I don't like it when people include the pronouns, except if it's like a pronoun idea thing. I love it when people either include little emoticons in the description. I know that's so unprofessional, but I love it. It makes it just feel so much homier, like homelier. I don't know the word. I don't know the word. But I also really like when they put a lot into the description and explain it a lot better. So let me see at the rating. Is it accessible? Despite being two different colors, there's not a whole lot of contrast, especially between the shades. So I'd have to say it's very on the accessibility. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? I think this is visually appealing. I think this is visually appealing. A stripe number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 stripes, which is a little iffy, but symbols. I love this symbol. And it's it has some good pieces to it. Don't get me wrong. But it's recognizable, but it's not very know it when you see it. You know? It's not a gender system, and the orientation and image sizing is proper. What the fuck is this? This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I'm not even gonna say anything about this. This is fucking beautiful. I love this. Who made this? I don't know who made that. No! It's so pretty! And it is a flag, too, which is interesting, but I don't think I'm gonna rate that one. Let's see. Which one should we do next? Which one should we do next? Let's do this one. Let's do this one right here. Because it's got a lot going on. Let's view image. Those are two different shades, huh? Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. Is it accessible? No. No. Let me get my color picker out. So this is one color. This is another color. This looks like it's another color. And this is another color. And they're all really similar. Like, all these pinks are really similar. And while the yellow and pink looks nice, I think, and it's aesthetically pleasing, but I don't think it's very accessible. I don't think it's a very easy to look at flag, especially because of all the contrasting patterns and stuff. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? It's pretty. It's pretty. Stripe number. One, I'm gonna count this as one stripe. Two, I'm gonna count this as one stripe. 3, 4, 5. So that's 5. It's not part of gender system to my knowledge, and the symbol is quite nice. The symbol's quite nice. I just personally do not like this flag because it's very hard to look at. Let's just look up gender flags. You know what? Let's just fucking do it. Hmm. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm sure it's not what I'm thinking it is anyway. Because always think of the good in people. Never assume the worst. You know? Let's think of another one. How long have I been streaming, I wonder? Random check. I'm streaming for over half an hour just talking about this shit. It's probably been mostly me just scrolling. But okay, let's talk about this. Okay. This is a Halloween version of a flag. So I'm not gonna be too harsh. This is a Halloween version. So it's accessible. Yes and no. There's good contrast, however, there are some pretty similar colors that are still different. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? I think this is beautiful. I think this is a beautiful flag. Stripe number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't really matter the stripe number because it's just Halloween version. That's the stripe number. Symbols. There's not really a specific symbol here. It's not part of our system, and the orientation's pretty good. It could be a bit longer. But I quite like it. It's just a little hard to look at, and yeah, it's a little hard to look at, but I still think it's visually appealing. And the last thing, we're gonna go through one more, and then I'm gonna talk about why queer vexillology is so important. Because I think it's important for me to say. You know what? I am going to find one from my little personal hoard here. Well, the whole system's hoard, really. So, or I could roast one on my own. I should roast one on my own. Yeah, let's go over this one. The bright abandoned gender I made. Is it accessible? I tried my best to have this accessible, but I do understand that this color right here and this color right here probably look pretty similar to those who are colorblind. I just don't know what I should change it to, but that is not an excuse. Is it pretty or ugly on purpose? I think it's visually appealing. But again, that's also my opinion. Stripe number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not part of gender system, and the orientation, it could be longer. It could be a bit longer. Most of my flags could be a bit longer, but I use a very specific aspect ratio for my flags. But I might want to end up changing that. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about why queer vexillology is so important. It's hard to explain a little bit, honestly, but microlabels themselves are important. Microlabels themselves are very important for people, and I've seen a lot of hate around Xenogenders, genders, but they really aren't hurting anyone. I'm trans myself, and I use Xenogenders. Genders. My quote unquote primary gender is non binary, so I am trans. And collectively, my system is trans. In some ways, and in other ways, there is one altar of ours that is only trans by technicality, but the rest of us mostly do not identify as female, and we're AFAB. So, yeah. So, the thing is, vexillology is the study of flags. It is mostly used for country flags. Here, let me pull up the definition of vexillology so I'm not just feeding you bullshit. Study of flags. It's an ology. So, yeah. This is from Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is bleh, but Oxford is a bit better, and Merriam-Webster says it's the study of flags. Studying queer flags, how they are made, and the community behind them is very important because, well, we need to know more about the queer community as a whole. This is not me being like, oh, we don't know enough. It's just knowing how people identify and the intricacies of their identity is important. Not for individuals, but for the collective whole, as humans need to understand. Well, a lot of people do. Not everyone, but most people need to understand, or at least want to understand. So, learning about how these flags are made and how they fit into these niche communities around xenogenders and different kinds of identities. It's for the collective good to study these. Now, my little silly rating system, is it doing anything? No, it's not. But it is getting some of these out there. And it's just a little look into how people usually do things, and a little look into, like, oh, I don't know. It's a little look into the queer community as a whole, and how people identify, and how a lot of neurodivergent people identify. It's important to have spaces for people who don't really identify with your three quote unquote main genders or whatever. Especially because intersex people exist. We know sex is kind of fluid, so why would gender be so solid and binary and partially non binary, I guess? But we already know that gender is a fluid thing, no matter who you are. So why can't we embrace that, you know? And sexuality and neurodivergence is such a fluid thing as well. It's important to understand that people are different and that needs to be seen as okay. It's important to know that people are different in general. And whether you understand xenogenders or not, it's important to look at them with a critical eye, yes. But with the knowledge that someone out there saw this and thought, that's me. Oh my god, that's me. And they found something. They found a part of their identity there. Whether they knew about it already or not, or were searching for this specific term, they found something for them. And that can mean so much. Yeah, it's usually not that serious, sure, but it can be a huge deal to people. And I want you all to know that this queer vexillology, it's not the most important thing in the world, but if you're queer, I'd suggest looking into it. I'd suggest at least learning a little bit, especially if you're on the fence about xenogenders and microlabels. I'd just look into how people actually identify. Because there's everyone from, like, here, let me pick a couple random examples, like pup gender to Coca-Cola cat gender. Like, there's so much. And there's so many people who understand themselves better when they use these microlabels. So yeah, love yourself, love other people in some way, shape, or form. And even if you don't get it, be compassionate. You know? You don't even have to be empathetic. Because there are people with, like, low empathy and shit. Like, I understand that. Just be compassionate. And remember that these are real identities. These are real people behind the screen. And yeah, some of them suck, but they're still people. You know? They're still people and they still deserve to live. Yeah. So yeah. Uh, Infidump over, I guess? Wow, 45 minutes! I'm guessing at least 20 minutes of that is just silence, though. I'm betting that. Because I'm really bad. I'm really bad at streaming. I haven't streamed in a hot minute. So, like, made a couple vlogs, though. If you got the link to the stream, you probably have seen one or two of those. But yeah, just compassion is important. Have love and respect for your fellow people.